Good afternoon and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland. My name is Paul Harris and I'm president of the City Club's Board of Directors. I'm very pleased to introduce today's speaker, K. Michael Benz, President and Chief Executive Officer of the United Way of Greater Cleveland. I can't think of a more relevant speaker, not just for those here today in the room in Cleveland, but for our national audience, as the nation recovers from the recession at a rate that Federal Reserve officials and leading economists have characterized as slowing, and as unemployment levels remain at very high levels, unacceptably high levels. United Way of Cleveland has, under Mr. Benz's leadership, adopted a new strategic focus concentrating on health and human service issues and areas where United Way's investments will make lasting and powerful improvements. Based on this strategic direction, a greater percentage of funding is directed to helping individuals and families meet their basic needs and be better positioned to achieve self-sufficiency. During Mr. Benz's leadership, United Way implemented Guitar Mania, an internationally recognized public art project that raised more than $2 million for health and human service programs in Greater Cleveland. Mr. Benz was also instrumental in bringing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum to Cleveland and served as its first executive director before joining United Way. Mr. Benz has been and continues to be very active in the Greater Cleveland community outside of United Way. He served for 12 years as a Greater Cleveland Growth Association Executive Vice President, and he was the first Executive Director for the Council of Smaller Enterprises. He serves as Vice Chair, known as COSY. He serves as Vice Chairman of the Cuyahoga Community College Board of Directors, chairs the Board Development and Marketing Committees of the City of Cleveland Cuyahoga County Workforce Investment Board, and serves on the Baldwin Wallace College and Ohio United Way Boards of Directors. I am very pleased to present on behalf of the City Club of Cleveland, K. Michael Benz, President and Chief Executive Officer of the United Way of Greater Cleveland.
Thank you, Paul. It's what an honor. I promised that to my colleagues, and I first want to acknowledge, first of all of you that have given so much to our community. The City Club is a big deal, and I approached it as a big deal. I've been here many, many times. I can tell you that as a speaker today, I am a member, and I've been a member for a long time. So I want to actually call out to a couple people in the room that really help us get to where we are. I'm the staff guy, but most importantly, we have volunteers and we have professional staff, and without them, we don't do anything. People ask me, because of my involvement with the Rock Hall, they ask me two questions. The first question is, why isn't the induction ceremony here every year? And we can cover that some other time. And the second question they ask is, what's your favorite song? And actually, Bill Plato is here as our former executive vice president. Bill and my colleagues at United Way actually purchase a small piece of art that represents kind of how we do things. And we did it with rock and roll. We're doing it now to rebuild this community. But it's a little help from your friends, from the Beatles. And that's something that drives us all. And so I would say to our chairman this year, co-chairman of our United Way campaign, David Goodman from Squire Sanders as a co-chair, with Rich Stosky from PricewaterhouseCoopers. Thank you for taking on the challenge. And these are the tough times. These are the times when leaders show up. So, David, thank you. And Bill, my colleagues are here from the United Way, staff leaders. I appreciate all your help and work, because really that's how it gets done, between the volunteers and the staff, and certainly my friends and colleagues from Cuyahoga Community College and so many others. So I'm pleased to be here. I promised that I wouldn't do what I did. I had the opportunity several years ago to give a presentation at the Harvard School, at the Kennedy School at Harvard. And I started that out in a formal way by actually grabbing the lectern, looking up and say, "Hey, Mom, I'm at Harvard." Much more important to me is, "Mom, Dad, I'm at the City Club." I do want to start with a big thank you. It takes everybody, as they say, a village to raise a child. Thank you all. Whether you gave to the United Way, whether you gave to another nonprofit, your time, your talent, your treasure. That's what makes things go around, not only here in Greater Cleveland, but throughout the country. As I'm sure people out in the audience, not only live, but throughout the country, know that it's the people that make the difference. And so for that, a big thank you, because that's how we do things. As was mentioned, I am a Clevelander. I was born and raised in Cleveland. I've had the fortune of raising our family here in Greater Cleveland. I've been involved a long time, and I really appreciate the fact that people in this town understand that this is a contact sport, that it's personal engagement. And for the last 16 years, almost 16 years, I'll let you know after today, I've had the privilege of being the staff lead at the United Way of Greater Cleveland. Throughout my career, I have seen incredible acts of kindness. Whether it was here, whether it was Growth Association in economic development, whether it's rock and roll, whether it's in education, I've seen just incredible people do incredible things. We have a video coming out this year with our campaign, and it's almost thematic, With My Own Two Hands. It's a song that was written that we put into a video, but that's really what it's about. I've seen incredible acts of kindness, and I've also seen, particularly in the last couple of years, incredible need, not only here, but across the country. The game has changed. The need's gone up, and I hope today to both deliver some good news and some challenges, and by all means, ask each and every one of you, if you haven't engaged, engaged throughout the country. That's what's going to do what we need to have happen. Get people back to work, get productive economy, and get companies and organizations profitable again to do the job that we can do. But I am pleased to report and pretty much start out with, as you know, we've had the most difficult economy since the Great Depression because of incredible volunteer leadership, incredible staff, and an incredible community. This year, we hit our goal. And so there were no cutbacks to our partner agencies. Pat Nobley's here from the Achievement Center for Children, one of our great local organizations that helps us as a partner. We didn't have to cut back because of your generosity. It takes leadership to show up at the most difficult times. And not to have cutbacks at a time when other philanthropy and other governments, other organizations had to cut back, to be able to say to our partners, to the people that are delivering the services under our strategic direction, you don't have to worry this year from us. You're getting the money. As long as you perform against these guidelines, you're going to get the money you need. Our volunteers went out and raised the money. And while we didn't know until the Wednesday before the Friday of our annual meeting, we were able to announce to everybody that the good news is this community cares in the most difficult times. So I'm pleased to say that. Thank you. In fact, since 2007, our United Way here in Greater Cleveland, and it's like that throughout the country, we have been able to maintain a funding level of a little over 90%. That's saying something. That's saying something about the people that care, that make the extra phone call, that show up at game time. It really is about generosity when it would be so easy to step away, to be about me, to say I've lost my portfolio, I've lost my job, and I can tell you, whether it's a penny, a dollar, $100, people stepped up. In fact, during that campaign, it's almost like telling war stories. I remember that the media in December and then again in February put all competitiveness aside and stepped up and went back out to the community again. In December, we were at $38,500,000. A lot of money. But we were $1.5 million short of where we needed to be to meet these needs. And when you look in the face of seniors or kids, you just can't give up because the need's there. These are not somber facts. These are the truth. It's easy to turn your back. But the media came out and said, look, this is really an important time.